Let's go through the answers to the 10.4 homework. So number 1, we are asked to find the measure of arc AC. Well, if we are told that this angle here is 24 degrees and we follow it out, we need to double it, and that is 48 then. In number 2, we are asked to find the measure of arc GH. So a couple of things that we know here. If this is 20, follow it out, this is 40. This is a semicircle, so this is 180. We know that all the way around is 360, so if we subtract out that 40 and that 180, that will give us 140 degrees. If we're looking for measure of angle S in number 3, we know that what we have here is the diameter, then we know that this is 180 degrees. If we were told that this is 48, then 180 minus 48 would tell us that this is 132. And if that's our arc, if we go in for our angle, we half that, and that is 66. If we look at number 4, I'm going to start with that I know that this angle T, which is 6x minus 2, is going to be equal to angle S, which is 5x plus 4. So I'm going to set this equation up and solve this to get x is equal to 6. So right there, x is equal to 6. If we look for angles T and S, then they would be the same. So if we were to do 6 times 6 is 36 minus 2, that is 34. As well as up here, 5 times x is 6, which is 30, plus 4 is 34. So we have A, D, and E covered. If we look at this right here is 32. If we were to take and extend that, we could see that the arc here would be double that, which would be 64, which would also be this arc here, which would take us to this angle that we would have to get 32. And so both of those are 32 degrees. All right, looking at number 5, we could see that I'm going to set the 7x minus 8 equal to the 5x and create this equation, and that is going to give us that x is equal to 4. So right here, that will also tell us that angle B, which is 7 times 4, which is 28, so if x is 4, we would have 7 times 4 is 28 minus 8. That's going to be 20. Even though it doesn't ask us, we could see that angle A would be 5 times 4. That would be 20 also. If we look at this angle, 4x plus 7, that's going to be equal to 5y minus 3. That's my equation there. I get that y is equal to 10. And then it asks me for the measure of angle D. Angle D here is going to be 4 times 10, which is 40, plus 7 gives us 47. All right, let me move this up. All right, looking at number 6. Number 6, we should be able to look right away here and see that what we have here is 90 degrees. And then if we know that that is 90 degrees, then we know that the interior triangle sum is 180. And if this is an x and this is a 2x, then what we have here is a 30, 60, 90. Now, if you needed to, you could set up an equation that said x plus 2x plus 90 equals 180 and solve for x. But if you solve that if this was 90 and if this is twice this, then you might be able to pick up that relationship. But if not, you could set up the equation x plus 2x plus 90 equals 180, and then be able to complete those angle measures. Next one, number 7. We needed to find 20, that x was 25 before we could get started here with too much. I mean, we could go with that. If it asks us for the measure of angle T, if this is 45, then we know that angle W and angle T are supplementary. They have to equal 180. So this one, if this is 45, this has to be 135 to give us 180. And then if it asks for the arc RWZ, if this is 135, and then we bring that out, we're going to double it, that's going to give us 270. So that's how I could get that. The next thing it says, ask us to solve for x. And so we would know that this angle and this angle are supplementary. So I set up the equation 4x plus 2x plus 30 equals 180 and solve that equation to get x equals 25. And then it asked me to figure out the measure of arc WRT. Well, if I just figured, if I knew that x was 25, 4 times 25 is 100. That would mean that this part over here is 200, and that all the way around here is 270, and so that is going to leave me with that 160. The other way to think about that is if we have 80 here, because if we find out x is 25, 2 times 25 is 50 plus 30 is 80. Then if we extend out this and this, that would give us the arc WRT. And if this is 80, double it and get 160. All right, number 8. First thing it asks us to do is solve for x. So we are going to have this angle plus this angle is going to be 180. They're supplementary. So set up the equation that gives us x is equal to 53. It next asks us for angle H. Well, if x is 53, 2 times 53 gives us 106. It then asks us to find the measure of arc JHG. So JHG. What we can do is, if this is if our x is 53 and this is 53 plus 21 right here, that is going to give us an angle of 74, and then 74 times 2 is going to give us the arc, and that'll be 148, excuse me. D is to solve for y. So if I look at this angle and this angle, they are so we take this angle 3y plus 9 and this angle here 4y minus 11. We know that this angle and this angle are supplementary, so they equal 180. When we solve that, y is going to be equal to 87. So if y should be equal to 26, and if y is equal to 26, then y is equal to 26. If we go back and define angle J, we would have 3 times y, which is 26, plus 9 is going to give us 87. Now, when it asks us to figure out the measure of angle HJK, then follow that in. We're going to need to know this angle here, which is going to be 4 times 26 minus 11. But then we're going to have to take that and double it to get the arc, and then that'll give us 186.